Allow me to present myself. My name is Andre Adami. I am a youth career pathway navigator, and I work with the Private Industry Council. We work with different schools and different businesses in order to coordinate these types of events, to say like that. Usually we do them in person, but right now we're changing things a little bit. We really hope you enjoy it. And please, if you have any question, feel free to throw at us anything you would like. And I will allow Mrs. Espenson to introduce herself. And if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, Mrs. Danylle.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I teach cosmetology. I have some of my lovely students here with me today to help give you a perspective from a student standpoint. But I'm a cosmetology instructor in Jackson. I have 3 other lovely instructors that do the job with me. But we are just kind of there to inspire and help the students get more creative and just push them to get a career start that's healthy in our industry and get good little standards set up from the beginning. Really, cosmetology school is about teaching safety and sanitation and keeping our students who will be future stylists safe and keeping the community safe so we don't pass on diseases and things like that to our patrons when we have them come in. So yeah, I teach cosmetology, which is actually part hair, part skin, and part nails. So there's a lot of different avenues you can take in our industry, and it's different teaching on Zoom. We've been teaching, my students go to class every day with us, and we do a lot of the Zoom lectures. We don't love it, but we do it because we are fighters and we want to do well in our industry. And so we will do whatever it takes to keep up on things. We have been getting the opportunity to have a million good hair shows, and skincare shows. And all these people all across the United States right now are down right now for the coronavirus stay-at-home orders. And so they're providing us with all this free education. So we have a huge amount of areas and different places we can get education right now in, but this isn't what we normally look like. We are hands-on people, and we like to make people feel better. And so we're all just so excited to get back and touch people and, service them again. So yeah, I have, it's hard for me because I know my students and I can see them, but I was just curious. I know that I see some of the other names on here. Does anyone feel comfortable enough? For my students, I never want to ask you to do something you don't want to do, but if you could just unmute for a second, and we could start with my students so they know, but just tell us your name and where you're from. That might, and then maybe how you chose Minnesota West or the industry in general. Kobe, can we start with you?
Hi, my name is Kobe Malo, and I go to school, or I'm from Fairmont. I'm actually doing this as a PSEO program through my high school, so I'm here half days. So.
Thank you. Haley, would you go next, Haley?
Hello, I'm Haley Harbitz, and I'm from St. James. I decided on Minnesota West. It was the only college I ever visited, and I basically fell in love with it the second I walked in the doors. I knew it was where I wanted to go, and I love it. I think it's a great option.
Thanks. And what are you excited about for the future, Haley? What are you wanting to do with this career?
Everything. I would love to specialize in working on weddings and doing bridal hair and makeup. I would love to do that. I think that's very fun.
Well, thank you. Juana, would you go next, please? Just kind of tell why you're interested in the industry, Juana.
Can you hear me?
Yes. It breaks up a little
bit. My name is Juana, and I am from St. James. I'm from St. James, and I love this industry. I love it. Because the instructor, I'm there.
Thank you, Juana. You are breaking up a little bit, Juana. I know we're having a little trouble with your connection, but Juana is from St. James. I'm going to help her out a little bit. And she's a busy mom, and so she's not your traditional, she's non-traditional student who's from St. James and drives, but she is so excited to be in this industry, and I know she loves it. And I have a little, at the end I have a little slide presentation, and if that works out to show, I've got a little tribute to Juana at the end there, because she was a competition winner for the United States last year. So we're pretty excited about that. CJ, can I have you go next? Yeah.
Hi, my name is CJ Flores. I'm from a small town called Howick, Minnesota. I wasn't gonna like go to school, but I had like a passion for cutting hair and stuff, and so I had a friend that was coming to this school, and so I decided to check it out. And once I saw inside the salon, I was like, wow, they have like all like good stuff and everything, and the teachers and everything seem amazing. So it's kind of like where I wanted to be.
Yeah, we're hoping to see CJ someday on stage, like carving pictures of people and portraits into people's hair. He's really good with the clippers. So yeah. Do you that are here, I know Hannah, I see you have a picture on. Otherwise, does anyone else want to feel comfortable introducing themselves so I can just know who I'm talking to a little bit better?
Hi, I'm Hannah. I actually work with Andre. So
Yes. Yep, great. I figured that might be the case. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Is there an Alejandro? Is that, am I saying it right? Maybe you're going to be,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, good. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I am from Wyoming. My name is Alejandro Rivera. In this moment, I take a class in Minnesota West.
Okay.
So,
Awesome. Thank you. You should come in and visit us sometime. Is it Kira or maybe Kyra?
Yeah, it's Kyra.
Okay.
I'm from Worthington, Minnesota.
Okay, great.
I'm a senior in high school still.
Awesome. And Carlos? I see you unmuted, but I'm not hearing anything.
hear me?
I can, yes.
Oh, my name is Carlos Melendez. I'm a student in YME, and I'm taking Powerline in Minnesota West.
Are you in Pipestone, or no, which city do you take Powerline in?
Huh?
Jackson? Are you going to Jackson for Powerline?
I'm Granite.
All right. Oh, Granite, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll be bummed to not get to see you every day on campus, but
Yeah.
exciting for you. That's great. Sabrina?
Hello, I'm from Minnesota, from Wyndham, and I'm a senior.
Awesome. Well, Sabrina, I'm from Wyndham too, so I wonder how far apart we're sitting. We should get on Snapchat maps and see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, you guys. I do have a just quick little presentation I could share talking about cosmetology if you'd like us to do that. I don't know if screen share will work. Should I give it a shot?
It should be working.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
All right.
There we go.
How about that? Can you guys see that?
Perfect.
Awesome. Let's see if I can make it big. All right. Well, I'm just going to go kind of through these slides. In our industry, we're visual people. We're hands-on people. We like to make things move or see them to understand them better. So I do have some pictures to go along with some of our slides just to tell you a little bit more about cosmetology and the opportunities we have. I always tell people this is the quote. I was going to college at 2002, and this was the quote that was on my dorm director's wall that made me change my career path from college and a 4-year degree to cosmetology. And the quote said, "Choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life." And I started thinking to myself, what would I love to do? And it was always about fashion or just kind of working with people's hair, makeup, and that kind of thing. And so I decided to give cosmetology school a shot. I planned to go back to college, but I ended up loving it so much I stayed in it. Now, what I did not realize as a high school student and even in college was that cosmetology had so many different pathways and professional careers that you could get within the program. I was familiar with hairstylist, working in a salon and using your skills to either color, texture, style, or cut hair. But you could also, I didn't know this was a big, because I was from Butterfield Odin is where I went to school. And so we didn't have people specializing in my small town. But what I found out is that you can actually make quite a bit of money specializing in one aspect of our industry. You can just be a colorist, a texture person who does texture services with curl and straightening and relaxing. A lot of people focus on extensions. Some people are just hair cutters. Some people just deal with wigs. I mean, you can really specialize in our industry. And right now, just with the way everything goes and like the hair shows we've been going to and stuff, there's so much out there and there's so much freedom to be creative and think outside the box and not look like everyone else around us. So a lot of diversity out there. You could also be an esthetician, and you could work with hair removal methods like waxing and laser hair removal. You could focus on makeup and skincare. You could work in a medical spa as a specialist in aesthetic services like microdermabrasion, chemical peels, and other spa services. Or you could be a nail technician, which was going to be just performing the manicures, the pedicures, acrylic and gel nail services, and you could just do nails all day. There's some kind of fun things that our nail techs do. Other options are being a trainer for a salon. You could manage a salon, you could own a salon. You could be what's called a distributor sales consultant. There are people in our industry that just drive around to salons and educate salon owners and bring out all the products and the education that we need to know on those products and how to sell them to the people who need them. You could be a competition champion, and we have in cosmetology school here in Jackson, we try to enter a couple competitions. We will be finding out results from this year's competition, but there are people who do that for a living once they get out of and get their degree. You could work for, like I said, a medical esthetician. You could be an author, writer, a state board member, or a product educator. So there's a lot of different things you can do. In our century today, now day spas are a really big thing. Having the spa environment is huge. Aesthetically pleasing, good smells. There's just so many different types of salons. You know, this would be more of your relaxing, full service salon. There's those nail salons, which you're all familiar with. We do have quite a few nail salons and around this area. There are just hair cutting salons. Those are like your Great Clips and your Smart Styles where they just cut hair. And then we have a lot of unique things, not maybe in this small area, but when you go into Sioux Falls, you have your men's only salons. Or if you go into the bigger cities, you have men's salons. This is the reason I went to school, is I was hoping to be a session stylist for magazine or film. I had my goals of doing that, but I didn't ever really go down this road. I worked with Miss Minnesota quite a bit and did some for modeling agencies, but I didn't get into like any TV, which I was kind of hoping to do. So maybe someday, right? You could be a platform artist. This is Nick Arrojo on stage at a show that we went to. Now in Minnesota right now, you need to get 1,550 hours in at a cosmetology school in Minnesota if you want to be a cosmetologist. If you want to be a nail technician, it's 350 hours. And if you want to be an esthetician, it's 600 hours. Classes that are helpful while you're in high school, or just kind of topics that are really helpful to discuss or look at, our business. Because if you want to run your own business and be successful, you know how to keep and save your money and spend it in the right ways. Art is really helpful because it helps with balance and a lot of the creativity we have and we are asked to perform. And then also communication. Whether you're shy or outgoing, it does not matter, but you do want to learn successful ways to communicate with others, how to talk to them, and how to actually listen effectively. I have a couple slides here. I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but it's just, I wanted to inspire you a little bit. Stylist Nick Arrojo, he charges around $500 per haircut, which I'm guessing none of you pay that around here for your haircuts. He's a celebrity stylist, but he has described the industry as recession proof. People will often wear old clothes, but find it difficult to skimp on a good haircut. And that was a quote from him, which is really, we're finding true. A lot of people are missing, now that we've been in lockdown a little bit, they have been missing their hairstylist. And I think that they realize that that touch and that just that experience with their stylist is really important. And these are just some stats that came from the Deeds Act. And so they just talk a little bit about money that we can be making around this area. I'm going to add some quotes from different stylists. Just for time's sake, I'll just go over those a little quickly. The recent data from over 400 occupations in Minnesota that rank the most in-demand jobs, cosmetology was ranked number 15. And this was a couple years ago, so it could have gone up since that time. The average hourly income depends on where you're located. So for here in Southwest Minnesota, it is only average is only showing 12 to 15.22 an hour. The thing that doesn't show is that's the average for, you have a lot of part-time workers there too, but that's not including their tips. So when you add on tips per hour, a lot of, you're supposed to claim your tips, but I think we probably know in our industry, a lot of people are not claiming their tips, which isn't the right thing to do, but it is what happens. And so that doesn't give us a real accurate read on what people are making in this industry. But the average nationwide is $50 for an average haircut price. And we usually do that in under an hour. So you can kind of know about where you'd be. Now, hourly commission is usually how we make our money, plus retail sales commission. So if that person sold anything on top of that, they would make some retail sales on that as well. And it's really unlimited how much you want to make in this industry. What we look like and how we present ourselves is huge. That makes a big difference in how we put ourselves together. Someone sent me a funny meme from Facebook or something of the stylists, or it was a TikTok from stylists all around the country, and they were showing what somebody in LA looks like when she goes to work, and what she would wear if she were in little town, Hicktown, USA, and what she would wear if she was like in New York. And I thought that was pretty funny because it really does reflect. But that's the kind of clientele we project. The image we project is kind of the clientele or the guests we get in. So your personal preference, and nowadays in Minnesota, they just changed the laws not too long ago, so we can actually open up and start working right away for ourselves. It used to be that you had to work under someone, and now you can work for yourself right away. So that's why business is really important, and keeping your money, knowing how to pay all your insurance and everything that you need to pay. But you can really, with that, you have rules that you can set your own dress code. You can be having the type of salon that you want to have. A lot of people are suite renting when they get out of beauty school now, and they can kind of set the standards for whatever they want. That can be good and that can be bad. If you don't have a real strong work ethic, that can be kind of bad, but those who do want to make money can make a lot of money. And you can continue your education anywhere in the world, and that's what we were supposed to. My students here were supposed to be in Chicago for a hair show this last weekend and today, or yesterday and today, and we didn't end up getting it, got canceled, but we did get to go to it online through Zoom classes and on Facebook Live. So we did get to still partake in the class. We just didn't get to go to Chicago, but we'll be ready to go as soon as they open up. The US will go to something fun next fall or next spring. So get to see a lot of cool things that stretch our imaginations, a lot of neat things at hair shows that push us, push our boundaries. I have some fun pictures of different things we've seen over the years at hair shows. It really does come down though to 15% of our success in this industry is going to come from how well we cut hair, or how well we polish our nails, or just our technical skills. 85% of what we do and how much money we're going to make and how successful we'll be in cosmetology is going to come from our people skills. And my last slide is a picture of Juana, who we entered the America's Beauty Show competition, the nationwide competition, the student group avant-garde competition. And this is our before and our after of our winning team. And we placed third in the nation last year. And Juana, who introduced herself earlier but was having some connection problems, was one of our team members, the 4 team members that participated in this and ended up winning. And she got to get on stage in front of, stand up and get on stage in front of a whole bunch of the world's top artists last year exactly at this time. So we're pretty proud of her. And it's fun to get to have little Minnesota, our section of this country, represented across the United States. So kudos to her and her team. We're going to find out if anyone won this year. We entered it again, so we'll find out this weekend. But hope that inspires you a little bit and gives you more information. I really would love to have questions from you guys, and then my students can also give some feedback too if you'd like.
Well, first things first, thank you so much for that beautiful presentation. It was fantastic. I sincerely loved it. And congratulations, Juana. I mean, that's an incredible job right there. Yeah, no, you deserve an applause. I had no idea, me personally, about those competitions and everything. So that gives us an idea of how many things are happening around us that we don't really know about. Things that if we don't get informed, we are not going to know about those stuff. So thank you so much for that. And there's a few things actually that really caught my attention. The very first thing is what you wanted to be and how you ended up instructing actually people how to do cosmetology and everything. if you don't mind me asking, do you, when you were young, when you were studying and everything, do you picture yourself being actually a college teacher on cosmetology?
No, absolutely not. No, that would have been nothing. No. And when I was young, grew up on the farm, and I
Okay,
couldn't wait to get out of the farm to the big city where things were cool. And
of course.
I was gonna leave this little, hick town behind and travel the world and be in fashion and not make less than 80,000 a year. I had all these dreams, goals. But you know what? Like your dream, I tell my students this all the time, your dreams can change. You have to set goals,
Exactly.
but they can
Exactly.
change, and that's okay. And what makes me happy today isn't maybe what I thought would make me happy back when I was 18, but that's okay. I'm happy, very happy.
Right. Definitely. And I mean, it seems like you're doing a fantastic job. As I say, that demonstration, that was fantastic. And the before and after of the contest, that was insane. I'm still in shock. Um, if you don't mind me asking, what did it take, or how do you prepare, sorry, how do you prepare yourself for that professional role of yours? Where do you study? How many years did it take you to be in the position where you're at right now?
It's ironic, but it doesn't take much to be a cosmetology instructor. It takes pretty much a 40-hour class, is it? So like 1 week of classes, 3 different exams, and a hands-on exam you have to do to teach. So in Minnesota, you could be an instructor. You just have to have a manager's license. So you'd have to be in working for a little bit first. But yeah, you'd have to have a manager's license. And so to teach
Okay.
at a cosmetology school does not take much. Any of these guys right now that are in class, within a year or two, could do this if they wanted to. Now, the college I work at, to be a head instructor, you do need 4 years of extra training, and I do need to have what's called a technical education secondary degree. So I need a little bit more in my role, but anybody can come in and be like an adjunct instructor here with
Okay.
just that instructor license, which doesn't take much to get. So
Definitely. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, for the students, I say rather Juana, she's an amazing teacher. Well, definitely, we can definitely verify that right now. So, I mean, as far as it sounds, everything seems to be simple and sort of like a can't go wrong type of career. I mean, you get to see so many things, you get to experience so many different areas, and a lot of people, when they think about cosmetology, I feel like they just close everything down to cutting hair or working with hair, everything
right.
with hair. But can you tell us more about the different areas that not a lot of people think about? I know you explained a bunch of them on the presentation, but what would you think are the, like, something that we don't know about that is actually more common than we actually think? For example, what are the hardest areas? What are the easiest areas to actually work in cosmetology? Different things like that.
Okay. I want my students to be thinking if they would have an answer for this too. I won't put you on the spot quite yet, but I want you to be thinking, because I guarantee your guys' little minds will think so quickly too of something that maybe you saw at a hair show or somewhere that you think was easier. When you get into the salon after pre-clinic classes, what did you find that was harder than, more difficult than you thought it would be, and what was easier than you thought? So I think I hear, while you guys are thinking, I think I hear from students a lot. I think they're proud of themselves after their first semester, when they go through theory classes and they realize there's a lot more involved in doing a good job with hair. There's a lot more about head shape, and just there's so much science that goes into everything we do. There's math that goes into it. There's, angles that go into it. There's just so much science behind it. And I think when they start learning all of that, they're just proud of themselves. Like my mom or my uncle said, "Oh, you're going to beauty school. Like, oh, that's no big deal. That's got to be simple. What do you have to go for so many hours to that, to learn that?" And I think that it is simple. It doesn't need to be rocket science or brain surgery, but if you want to be good at it and successful at it, there are so many things you need to take into account. So I don't know, do any of my students want to unmute and tell me something you found surprising about our industry?
I mean, once we got into the salon, like the first semester, it's some hands-on stuff, and you practice on each other and you do some stuff on your mannequins. And then the second semester, you start to get clients in, and it's like, wow, this is real. Like, I am in charge of cutting this person's hair perfectly. And it's really intimidating, but it's so fun. And I honestly think that I was surprised at how much it takes just to cut somebody's hair. Like, you think, oh yeah, just take a scissor or a clipper and you cut it. But it's really not that simple at all. A lot goes into it, and thinking of their head shape and what would look good with their face. and their body type and all of that stuff. It's crazy, like how much people don't realize goes into our business and what we do with our clients.
Wow. And I'll tell you the truth. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that by experience, when I was a kid, I tried to cut my own hair, and I can tell you that is not easy. That is not easy at all. Not easy as it seems. So that is fantastic. You know, I've always wondered that myself. When you're studying cosmetology, let's like in the hair area, I mean, the hair is the look of everybody. If you mess up something, then you're going to mess up this person's possibly day by day. And you say it is intimidating, but at the same time, when you're doing that, as far as you made it sound, when you're doing that, is much different, the fact of actually being doing it and actually being practicing it, than what everybody thinks about just how it will be. So the experience of you actually being in person, it's very different. Is that correct?
Yeah, I
Perfect.
think that's correct. And I think, you know what? I think for the first time in, I don't know, forever maybe, I think a whole bunch of people, probably about this week, are finding that out for themselves as they try to cut their family's hair at home because we're not able to do it for them. And so I've gotten pictures of quite a few unique looking haircuts.
Well, you just
I've never
exposed
felt,
that.
yeah, I've
You
never
just
felt so essential.
I just exposed why my room is so dark, because my hair is pretty long. So I'd rather not show that part of myself right now. So that is fantastic. That is great. You know, what I guess this is a perfect moment to ask you. You said a lot of ratings, and our students can really, I mean, whoever is right now on the call, which we have quite a few students actually checking right now, they're learning a lot about the cosmetology field. And this is what we like about it, that it's very different compared to what they see to what it actually is. Every field is like that. You can see something and think something about that field, but when you just start actually hearing it from a professional, from somebody that is actually practicing it, they can tell you the completely different thing. You know, this is not as it looks in movies. This is not as it looks on the TV. It's actually very different than that. And as you said, it includes math. I had no idea. I had no idea that you were going to be working with angles and things like that. But you think about it, that's true. That's true. And the angles on the head and everything. So you don't mind me asking, what tips could you give our students who want to succeed on the cosmetology field? Like, what is the most important thing you will consider from this field, or the main thing that you could tell them you should really consider focusing on this aspect or something like that for them to succeed?
Kobe, and Kobe's a new student this semester. I would love to hear a perspective from you on what's something that you think would have helped you get ready for your first semester, which is quite different than the other three who are in their second and third semesters. Do you have anything you could add?
Well, I don't really know. I think just keep more of like an open mind of like what all cosmetology has to offer. Because like I had no idea like that we did facials and like that we went so in depth with that kind of stuff. So like just like, I don't know, just keep an open mind. Like you get to do all this fun stuff and just work hard at it, I guess.
Maybe
Gotcha.
try it all. Don't say I'm not going to be good at something. I think a lot of people say right off the bat, and I did myself, that I hate feet when I went to college. And then they said I had to like do a pedicure and do someone's feet, and I thought I was going to die because I hate feet. But I ended up making my first year in the industry. I made so much money doing pedicures. I got huge tips, and I made so much money. My pedicures were about $55, and I did them
Oh,
all day long, every day, and I made bank on people's feet that I didn't want to touch.
that is pretty awesome. And that's a funny thing. That's part of cosmetology too. That's why, yeah. I love that answer. Thank you so much, Kobe. I mean, you mentioned something very important that I believe connects to one of the slides on your PowerPoint. You said you have to be very open-minded, and then one of the slides I saw, it requires a lot of people skills. So then cosmetology, it's a lot of customer service and how you present yourself to the persons and to the people and things like that. Is that correct?
It is correct, for sure.
Okay.
And staying positive too. Try not to let negative people bring you down, because it can, you work so closely with people, their energy and the culture of the workplace that you're in can really change everybody and affect everyone for the negative.
Oh,
So it's
yes.
really important to have people who are positive and there to, think about things and not worry about other people, but there to lift up their coworkers or lift up their style, and even your guests when they come in. not to judge them because they may have had a really bad day or might have things going on in their lives, and just to be really understanding. If they're running late, to be understanding, and just to know how to balance all of that with people skills so that you have a compassionate and someone who wants to come to you, and they want to have you do their hair, do their nails or whatever, because you make them feel better in the end.
Would you consider that customer service, those situations when somebody comes in a hurry or when somebody has had a very bad day or something, does that happen more often than people thinks it happens?
Yeah, and they're usually quite sorry if they're late or if they've had a bad day. But they feel, usually you can just feel when they leave, it's so great. You feel like you just made their day better. And there's not a lot of industries, I'll tell you, there's not a lot of industries that have good touch.
Okay.
You go to the dentist, you go to the doctor, you're usually being touched, but it's not a good touch. It's us and massage therapy, really that can touch you and make people feel better, which is like we're so hands off in our world right now. You don't touch people, and we're one of the still professions that gets to do that, I guess. And it's pretty much,
I'm guessing that after hoping that this epidemic passes away soon, I'm pretty sure you will be a very, very busy class, very busy people. I'm not sure how several places are going to react, and specializing in cosmetology, but I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of customers coming around.
Yeah. Once they feel safe, I'm sure they will, for sure.
Before I ask one of the few last questions, does any of the students have any questions that you would like to ask Hannah, Hannah, Kyra? Anybody would like to ask any questions? Remember, if you would like to unmute, that's fine. Otherwise, you would like to ask through the text box, that works perfectly.
How do you gain your customers or clients trust? Because I know myself, I don't like to go to every hairstylist. Even when I get my nails done, I go to, a certain person just because I know that I can trust them. But I've never, I guess, realized why I trust that, why I trust that person over somebody else.
Yeah, that's an awesome question, Hannah. The graph I showed you of the 15% of our success comes from our technical skills and 85 from basically our professionalism, soft skills. That's where we win them over by being able to speak to them. We have to get them to trust us first. And that's by having a professional look, how we speak to them and how we talk to them, how we ask them questions. If we're actively and reflectively listening to them, they say one of the things, most people, once they find a stylist they love, they're very loyal to them. Some of the things and the reasons that people leave their stylist are because they don't give them change. So maybe just saying, hey, you want the same thing as last time? Or should we cut it like last time? That's like the number one question we should ever say as a hairstylist, because then we tend to get into a funk. But yeah, we need to be willing and open to win their trust with our soft skills, our people skills. But I would say that everybody in here would agree that one of the greatest ways today that's different than when I was young and starting in this industry that we can gain people's trust is through social media. And that is by showing our work through all of the things that we do on social media. I would say more students get people to come back and return to come back by their Instagram sites and all of their portfolio work they put out there.
That is fantastic. Do you have a page or something that students can look up, maybe on Facebook or something?
Yes, we do. We have an Instagram and a Facebook. It's Minnesota West The Fringe. And yeah, you'll see all of my students work all the time on there. And then sometimes, like right now, we're posting just kind of inspirational things from other social media sites right now since we're not in class.
Awesome. Perfect. I would love if the students and everybody could check on that. And as well, I see that Sabrina just asked a question, which says, what do you find exciting in this job, and what cosmetic products do you use and why?
Can I hand the exciting part off to you, CJ? Could you tell them what you find exciting? And then Haley, I'll have you get ready for what products you use.
All right. Stuff that I find exciting about being in cosmetology is all the different stuff that like we get to do and like the impact that we make on people. And especially like, for instance, since I like doing like cool designs and like cutting hair mostly and styling hair, I find it really exciting that if I can talk to somebody and see kind of like what they want, and if they picture something in their head like a certain look, that I'm able to give that person what they want, and then they're able to leave and like go on with their day feeling great about themselves. and just all the like cool stuff that we're able to like learn and then actually be able to put out there for other people, and like try and educate people so that way they are like informed on what we do, and then maybe even like spark interest for, you know, like a client if they want to do this, and then do the same thing for other people.
Thank you, CJ. And wouldn't you agree, CJ? I think you've had a lot of fun. I've gone to a couple hair shows with you, and I think you've had fun at those shows seeing people like you. You know, you're our only male right now in the program, and so it's fun when you go to the shows, you can see that there's a lot of people just like you out there that you can be inspired by. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it's really nice being able to go out to certain shows and meet different people from different regions and kind of like talk about similar interests and different techniques and kind of learn from different people, because in this industry we're always learning every day. Even if you think you know one thing, you're going to learn something new about that same topic the next day. So it's really fun.
Thanks, CJ. And Haley, what products do you love?
Oh boy. I am a makeup fanatic. I love it. And I have, ever since I was little, I've known that I want to be a cosmetologist. And I have a very large makeup collection and a large nail polish collection and a hair product collection. And I would say, especially for hair, I know not everybody can get a hold of it, but professional products are very important in your hair. There's like in the drugstore products that you can get at like Walmart or Target, you know, that those places, they have a lot of ingredients that build up on your hair and can damage it over time, even though it feels good in like the first week that you use it, and it slowly builds up and then makes your hair feel kind of gross and heavy. I would definitely say professional products from either a stylist or, you know, somewhere that you're able to buy them from is a really good option. Don't use box color, please. That's very, it's a difficult process to deal with. And then as far as makeup, I know I talked about using more expensive things on your hair, but I'm all about using drugstore brands for my makeup, just making sure that it doesn't have any harsh chemicals in it or fragrances. Fragrances react with my skin badly and I break out from it. I've had acne for a long time, so I've kind of figured out what makeup products work for me. I love Maybelline 100%. They're one of my favorite drugstore brands. NYX Cosmetics is really good. Profusion for eyeshadows and Morphe. I love all those brands. They're all really good. Yeah.
Thanks.
Basically just, yeah, finding out what works for your skin is really a big deal with makeup.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Haley. And you know, you mentioned something very important, and that is true. There's sometimes people say is that cheap comes out expensive. Does that I'm guessing that applies the same for the hair. If you try to go cheap, that's fine, that's okay, but on the long run, as you said, it is going to hurt your hair, and then you're going to have to do a little bit more process than you would have done if you would just taken the professional thing. So it does make a difference then when you buy something more expensive. It's more expensive, but at the same time it works. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's definitely right. For me, and everybody's a little different in this, but I never want to cost my guests more money than that, you know, like if it were me, I'd think of it, just treat them like I would want someone to treat me. So if I have a drugstore product that's cheap and good and less expensive, I'm going to make sure I tell them about that. But then the ones that could harm their hair or their skin or whatever, I'm going to tell them about that too and make sure they stay away from that. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, first things first, thank you so much for answering those questions. Thank you, Sabrina, for asking that question. We sincerely appreciate it. Is there anybody else that has any other question? I do have one last. In the middle of this question, if anybody would like to type a question on the text box or something, feel free. We'll make sure we answer it for you. This one goes merely to the students. How long did it take you to feel comfortable actually cutting, for example, somebody's hair? I'll tell the truth. I mean, I think about it and I get goosebumps thinking, oh, wow, I'm going to get close to somebody's hair and I'll have to make it perfect and they better look good. Because it doesn't look good, I don't know what I'm going to do because I cannot just grow the hair back like that. So how long did it take you to actually do a good haircut or something that you can be proud of and to feel comfortable just cutting somebody's hair?
For me personally, I think it's a lot in your head, and you just have to believe in yourself and say like, okay, I got this. Like, you have to have confidence in yourself, because when you're like, I get really nervous when, you know, I get a new client in and I have to cut their hair. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get the same feeling like, what if I mess this up? What if I put a hole in their hair or something crazy? Yeah, you really just have to have confidence in yourself. And our teachers do an amazing job at helping us out and believing in us and being by our side, you know, helping us out, doing anything that we need for them, showing us how to do a certain thing with their hair. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm completely 100% comfortable, but I don't know if that will ever come, especially with newer people. I think it's really just having the confidence in yourself and knowing that you can do it even if you are nervous.
Nice, nice. That's actually pretty good. And I've always wondered how you manage to be calm on these situations. What I mean is that I feel like if I'm cutting somebody's hair and I hear like a noise out of nowhere and I get scared, I'll be like, "Zhun!" So how do you actually manage it to control the focus on cutting somebody's hair without any disruptions?
Something that I do to kind of like remain focused is like something that our teachers actually brought up to us recently is just to remember to breathe, because I know sometimes we do it without even realizing it. So it's stay calm even if you are nervous. And something that I like to do sometimes if I start to get nervous is talk to my client, whether it be about, you know, how they are, like about their hair. And yeah, like our teachers, again, like Haley said, they're just amazing with helping us. So if there is, you know, a time that we do get a little overwhelmed, then they're always there to make sure, you know, like things are okay, and they help us kind of stay focused and make sure that what we're doing is like okay. So
Awesome. Thank you, CJ. I appreciate that question. And actually, I'm very happy that you were able to answer me, because I was wondering, Danylle actually says something very important, and it's that you are the only guy, CJ, right now there. This question goes for you directly. What tip do you give, what recommendation do you give to any male students that actually want to study cosmetology? Everybody talks about cosmetology and they think about something that it's for females, but clearly it is not. Clearly right here we have you talking with us, and you told us very, very good answers. So what recommendation would you give him? What to expect?
I actually like answering this question a lot, because me personally, when I first came into cosmetology, I know that there was barber schools around, and when I did want to join cosmetology, I was kind of only interested in the hair. But when I did join the full course, at first I was a little lenient, but once I started doing everything, I actually found that I actually love doing all of it, especially like doing nails, facials. So for like any male that's out there that is kind of feeling like a little iffy on it because they do think cosmetology is just for girls, it's definitely not. And my teacher, Danylle, actually has shown me a lot of like male professionals and stuff that have made it very far in their career, and a lot of
Nice.
other males and stuff. So yeah, don't be shy or don't be like down on yourself. Just kind of like embrace it, and because you're gonna find something that you love, whether you're a male or female. So anything is for anybody.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that is an excellent answer. To be fully honest with you, as we say, cosmetology is not just for females. As we can see right here, CJ is doing an excellent job, and same as well, the girls here are doing an excellent job. Your hairs look beautiful, so that talks good about it. That talks good about what you are doing. So one last question, and this goes for you, Mrs. Espenson. It's what should the students expect from if they want to study cosmetology? What should they expect from it, so they can get ready? Like how many hours of study? Maybe is it a lot of traveling? Is it not? Is it a lot of customers coming in? Because I know that the Jackson campus accepts customers and things like that. What should they expect from it if they want to study cosmetology?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first part that you come to school is a lot of theory. So and that surprised me when I went to beauty school too. Like we were in class, I was just assuming we'd start cutting hair right away. And so there is some theory that you need to know. And that really is basically how things grow, how the skin works, how the hair works. and then diseases and disorders to be careful of. So you need to know what you should not expose yourself to, and just safety and infection control things. And I mean, you can see now why that's so important. That's why we're not working right now, is because of that. So yeah, that's the stuff you'll learn in the classroom before you start working in the public. And then you go from doing a lot of theory then to a lot of hands-on. In the second and third semester for cosmetology is all just pretty much hands-on with very little theory. So
Nice.
yeah, that's kind of it's a fun career. There's a lot of time, but it's also something you have to push yourself to stay busy. We don't believe in micromanaging people. We like to let our
Okay.
students push themselves. So we want to, just provide that environment for them.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
How long does the degree take?
1,550 hours for cosmetology and 350 for nail tech and 600 for esthetician. And then we don't have the advanced esthetician program in Jackson, but that's another 500 hours.
Okay. Where can they take that program?
It's just a new rule they instilled last year. So I hope we get it someday. But right now, there's a few schools in Minnesota that offer it. Mhm.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, we sincerely thank you for those answers. It was an incredible presentation, and I'll tell you the complete truth. I learned a lot about cosmetology myself. As I say, the first thing that impressed me right away is that you need math, you need to know all those things, and those are things that not a lot of people think about right away. So
Right.
I really would like to thank you all the students that decided to participate and the ones that are joining to learn about it. This was a great presentation, and definitely we hope to hear more from you. Before we finish, any other students, Alejandro, Kyra, Carlos, Sabrina, again, do you have any more questions you would like to ask for either the students or for Mrs. Espenson? Anything works. We'll make sure we get everything answered. Sabrina says, how much time do you need to do a haircut?
How much time do you need to do a haircut? Great. In my salon, I do a lot of precision cutting, and so I always reserve 45 minutes to an hour for my haircuts. However, if you're working at a Great Clips or a quicker area, like a quick place, they want you to get your haircuts down to 10 minutes. So I would say anywhere from 10 minutes to 45 minutes would be, depending if you're doing more precision work or if you're doing more of a quick cut, like a child's cut that just needs to get in and out, there is a difference. So anywhere from, I would say 10, 15 minutes to 45.
Okay. And I'm guessing it depends as well on the hair of the person, right? Everybody's different.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And if you shampoo them first and if you style them when they're done, a lot of times the, quicker Great Clips, they're going to just cut you as you are and they're going to just let you go. They're not going to be shampooing. So that makes a difference.
Gotcha. Is it normal that it takes more than 45 minutes?
I just think if this person has really long, thick hair, like you can't see how long Juana's hair is and Haley's and Kobe's, they're all, and Hannah's, yours look long, but to dry that kind of hair could take longer. So that's why I always leave an hour for mine with longer hair, not my men's clients, but my women's. Or
Gotcha.
if I have a man that has long hair, I'm going to have extra time to dry them.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that answer. Anybody has any other question you would like to ask? Anything works, as you can see. A lot of good information, a really lot of good information. Thank you so much. Let's give it a minute right here to see if anybody else has any question. Mr. Alejandro, Kyra, Carlos, or once again, Sabrina, if you have any other question, please let us know and we will be happy to assist with it. All right. Then in that situation, if we should be good, allow me to thank you so much. Thank you so much for the time that you spent with us. To all the students, to you, Mrs. Espenson, we really appreciate it. This has helped a lot of the students, and it's going to help many more once we show them this presentation. And it has helped me, myself and Hannah. So we really thank you for taking the time of your day and really giving us something new in our lives to learn.
Yes. Well, thank you for letting us and allowing us to be a part of it. We're really happy.
Thank you so much. Well, everybody, I would like to thank you as well to all the students that decided to join, and we will keep you updated for different classes that will be coming up. But for the meantime, once again, we would like to thank you, the cosmetology class that decided to join us from the Jackson, Minnesota West.